Okay, we're live.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Committee on Transportation. We're pleased to have you with us. Today, we'll be doing three basic things. We're going to start with a confirmation hearing, followed by some quasi-independent state agency reports. There'll be three of those. And then we'll hear the Bureau of Motor Vehicle, a presentation that they'll be making to us. All in all, it should be a very nice afternoon. Shouldn't be too long. We're looking forward to getting into our first confirmation. Before we do, though, we will introduce ourselves, and we'll start with Representative Sieber if he's with us.
No,
Don't see him. Representative Kevin O'Connell. Good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Welcome, everybody. Kevin O'Connell. I represent District 128, which is a chunk of Brewer.
Thank you very much. Representative Tom Martin.
not yet.
Representative Bruce White.
Hi, thank you, and good afternoon. Representative Bruce White from Waterville District 109.
Thank you, sir. Representative Mark Bryan.
Thank you, Senator. I'm Mark Bryan. I represent House District 24, part of the town of Wyndham. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. Representative Mike Perkins. Good afternoon, Representative Perkins.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Perkins, representing District Number 77, Oakland and Sydney.
Thank you, sir. Representative Wayne Perry. Afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wayne Perry. I represent House District 10, which covers Arundel, Dayton, and most of Lyman.
Thank you. Representative Lynn Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Representative Lynn Williams. I represent District 135, which is Bar Harbor, Mount Desert, and Lemoyne.
Thank you. Representative Dustin White. I don't think I see him. Senator Ben Chipman,
No,
running his own committees, and Senator Farron had a as a personal thing this afternoon. And House Chair, Representative Danny Martin. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, folks. Danny Martin, House 150, located in northern Aroostook County.
Thank you, sir. And I'm Bill Diamond, Senator from Senate District 26. I live in Wyndham. And again, we're glad we can have everybody with us. We will start with our confirmation hearing, and pardon the script, but we're required to read most of this. So we will get started. This is a public hearing on the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation for the purpose of considering the nomination by the governor of Ms. Marguerite Miller Fleming of Portland for appointment to the Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority. Under the law and joint rules of the legislature, this committee is required to hold a public hearing and to recommend confirmation or denial of the nominee by a majority vote of the committee. Committee members present and voting. As chair of the committee, we will send a written notice to the Senate President informing him of our decision recommendations. The committee will hear testimony from and have an opportunity to question the governor or her representative of the nominee present, and we wish to speak, those who wish to speak for and those who speak against. The meeting is currently being live streamed on the committee's YouTube channel. Pursuant to Title III, Section 157 of the main statutes, which requires there be an affirmative motion to recommend confirmation of the nominee. Chair recognizes Representative from Sinclair, Representative Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move that the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation recommend confirmation of Ms. Marguerite Miller Fleming of Portland for appointment to the Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority.
Thank you very much. The chair now recognizes Melissa O'Neill Lowe for the purpose of making a statement concerning this nomination. Good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation. My name is Melissa O'Neill Lowe, and I am the Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Janet Mills. I'm here today on behalf of the governor to ask for your support and speak in support of the nomination of Marguerite Miller Fleming of Portland as a member of the Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority. The Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority can be found in Maine Revised Statutes under Title 23, Chapter 621, Section 8111. The board consists of 7 members. 2 of those members are the Commissioner of Transportation and the Commissioner of Economic and Community Development. The remaining 5 members are members of the public who are appointed by the governor. Maggie Fleming is being nominated to seat number 5, which is just a general seat. Ms. Fleming is currently the administration analyst for the town of Falmouth, where she provides policy and development support to the town's council and town manager, in addition to working directly with the long-range planning director and town department heads on long-range planning and transportation projects. In her role with the town of Falmouth, she has been instrumental in the work in the areas of capital improvement and infrastructure planning, including the research and planning for the potential to construct a platform stop at the West Falmouth Crossing Shopping Center in partnership with the Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority and the Maine Turnpike Authority, as well as other stakeholders for this new stop for our rail service. Maggie currently serves as the secretary of the board on the Grow Smart Maine board, where she's been a member since 2020. In addition to her community service, in 2019, Maggie was recognized as one of the University of Southern Maine Muskie School of Public Service Directors Awards for Outstanding Graduate Student. Maggie holds a BA in History with a minor in French from Tulane University and a Master of Policy, Planning, and Management from the Muskie School of Public Service, University of Southern Maine. Maggie's youthful energy and experience in municipal planning, as well as her current role investigating the necessary steps needed to bring a pad stop to Falmouth, make her an ideal candidate for NEPRA's board. For these reasons and many more outlined here today, I would ask that on behalf of the governor, you support the appointment of Marguerite Miller Fleming of Portland to the Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority. Thank you all for your time this afternoon, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
Thank you, Ms. O'Neill Lowe. We appreciate your testimony. Are there questions from the committee? Hold on, let me get my thing.
Thank you.
Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The chair now recognizes Ms. Marguerite Miller Fleming for the purpose of making any statement she chooses concerning this nomination. Good afternoon and welcome.
Thank you. Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation. My name is Marguerite Fleming from Portland, and I appreciate the opportunity to be with you today to discuss my nomination to the Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority, NERPRA. I would like to thank Ms. O'Neill Lowe for her introduction, and I am grateful to be nominated by Governor Mills, and I would be honored to serve on the NERPRA Board of Directors. NERPRA and the Amtrak Downeaster provide a valuable service to the state of Maine through increasing transportation options for residents and visitors, enhancing tourism and economic development, and advancing climate change goals through a reduction of vehicle miles traveled. I am excited about NERPRA's current strategic initiatives and the opportunity to be part of the organization's continuing efforts to make riding the Downeaster more accessible to residents of different regions of the state. Through my varied professional experience as outlined in my provided resume, I have developed a broad set of skills that I believe would make me an effective member of the NERPRA Board of Directors. I currently serve on 3 volunteer boards and committees through which I have honed my leadership skills, served as an organizational ambassador, and gained experience in fiduciary management and oversight. In Falmouth, I've worked on several capital improvement, connectivity, and transportation infrastructure planning projects, which have involved engaging with the public, stakeholders, and elected officials, as well as communications and marketing efforts. I am also responsible for policy research and development, project management, budget development, and strategic planning. I understand the importance of making well-considered decisions through transparent and inclusive processes, and am confident in voicing my opinions and concerns. I look forward to the possibility of contributing my skills and experience at the state level. And I thank you for your time and consideration, and would be pleased to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate, thank you very much. We appreciate that testimony. Are there questions from the committee? Seeing none, thank you again. The chair will now take comments from persons attending this hearing who wish to speak for or against the nomination. Anyone who has written statement but who does not wish to speak should have submitted this statement with the committee clerk prior to today's hearings. Those who wish to speak in person registered with the committee clerk prior to the hearing, which we called upon today by the chairs, at which time they will be prompted as panelists. I believe we have Patricia Quinn, is that correct?
And she's coming through.
Okay. Good afternoon, welcome.
Hi there. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, and members of the Transportation Committee. My name is Patricia Quinn, and I'm the Executive Director of the Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority. As stated, NEPR is the agency which manages the Amtrak Downeaster Passenger Rail Service, which provides 10 station communities and 12 service to 12 station communities in 3 states. To date, the Downeaster safely transported more than 8.2 million riders, the equivalent of 668 million passenger miles. It's with great pleasure that I support the nomination of Maggie Fleming to the NEPR Board of Directors and a role as administration analyst for the town of Falmouth. She will understand many of the opportunities and challenges experienced by many of our current Downeaster station communities, and will be a real asset as we evaluate the potential for a new station in West Falmouth. In addition to those activities, her engagement in Grow Smart Maine and other professional achievements, her experience and engagement will be very helpful to our staff and to our board moving forward. As with most businesses, this is an important time for NEPR and the Downeaster as we seek to recover from the impacts of the pandemic and to rebound as a preferred provider of public transportation. Ms. Fleming's leadership and insight will be beneficial to us in helping us achieve those goals. So on behalf of the NEPR staff and board, I respectfully request that you vote to confirm Marguerite Fleming. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Quinn. Are there questions from the committee of Ms. Quinn? Seeing none, thank you for being with us. We appreciate your testimony and your time. Others who would speak regarding the nomination?
Well, Megan said she was going to speak, but I don't see her. But Nina's here, so I'm pulling her in just in case.
All right.
Oh, there's Megan.
All right.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Russo, good afternoon, welcome, and please present your testimony. Nice to have you.
Thank you. Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, members of the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation. My name is Megan Russo. I'm not sure why it says Nina Fisher in my little box there, but my name is Megan Russo. I am the manager of legislative and constituent services at Maine DOT. Maine DOT has a close working relationship with the Passenger Rail Authority, and we are supportive of the governor's nominee, Ms. Fleming, to the NEPR board. So I will be brief, and any questions you have, I'd be happy to try to answer.
Thank you very much, Ms. Russo. Are there questions from the committee? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Did we have one other?
Not to my knowledge.
Oh, I think we're all set.
We're all set. Very good. All public comments have been taken. The committee will now proceed as follows. We'll review any additional written comments, which we have already sent to us. We'll vote on the nomination and notify the President of the Senate to Title III MSRA Section 157 and joint rules. The vote must be taken within 35 minutes, 35 days from the date of the governor's notice. The hearing by the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation for Ms. Marguerite Miller Fleming of Portland for appointment to the Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority is closed. In accordance with the law, the committee may not take the vote on this nomination sooner than 15 minutes after the close of the public hearing, unless committee members who are present agree to a shorter time. At this time, is there any member of the committee that would wish that we wait and avoid voting now? Seeing none, thank you very much. The pending question before the committee is that the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation recommend to the Senate, the 130th Maine Legislature, that the nomination of Ms. Marguerite Miller Fleming of Portland for appointment to the Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority be confirmed. In accordance with 3 MRSA Chapter 6, Section 157, and with the joint rules of the 130th Legislature, the vote will be taken by the yeas and nays. A vote yes will be in favor of the nomination. A vote no will be against the nomination. Is the committee ready for the question?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I see that Melissa O'Neill Lowe has her hand up. I was just wondering if she had a comment.
Miss O'Neill Lowe, yes? Did you have? Oh, no.
Sorry, I don't know how that happened. I apologize. I was closing the chat and it must have hit something. I
No
apologize.
problem. Thank you very much. All right, we'll go to the committee clerk, Darlene, to take the roll call.
Senator Diamond,
Yes.
Senator Diamond, yes. Representative Danny Martin,
Yes,
Representative Danny Martin, yes. Senator Farren is absent. Representative Perkins is,
Yes.
oh, there he is. Representative Perkins, yes. Representative Perry,
Yes.
Representative Perry, yes. Representative Williams,
Yes.
Representative Williams, yes. Representative Dustin White is absent. Senator Chipman,
Yes.
Senator Chipman, yes. Representative Bryant,
Yes.
Representative Bryant, yes. Representative Bruce White,
Yes.
Representative Bruce White, yes. Representative Tom Martin is absent. Representative O'Connell,
Yes.
Representative O'Connell, yes. And Representative Seabra is absent. 9 in the affirmative, none in the negative, and 4 absent.
9 members, having voted in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, it is the vote of the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation that the nomination of Ms. Marguerite Miller Fleming of Portland for appointment to the Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority be confirmed. Thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
You know,
okay,
Senator Diamond, Maggie, if you're still there, the fact that no one has asked a question of your nomination or made any comments, I say that because Senator Diamond and I have held many confirmation hearings. So the fact that no one spoke or questioned you speaks very well of your nomination, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well said. Thank you very much, Representative Martin. Again, thank you, and thank you, Ms. O'Neill Lowe, for being with us and presenting it.
Thank you, Senator.
Tally, welcome. And we see Senator Chipman has joined us. Would you like to introduce yourself, Senator Chipman?
Sure. I'm Senator Ben Chipman. I represent Senate District 27, which is part of the city of Portland.
Okay, very good. We are now going to go to our quasi-independent state agency review. And since we have Ms. Quinn with us, we will start with the Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority. Welcome, Ms. Quinn, again.
Thank you.
Would you like to make any presentation, make any comments regarding the Northern New England Passenger Rail Authority? We have the information, but we'll obviously offer any time for you you'd like.
Thank you. I appreciate that, but I think at this time, I've already introduced the organization and gloated a little bit about our accomplishments, so I'll leave it at that, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Are there questions from the committee members regarding the authority? Anybody like any clarifications? I would say that we've used the rail down to Boston with my grandson, and it's been really a great time. So thank you for the smooth operation that you provide. Very nice. Seeing no other questions, I think we will move on to the next report, and that would be the Maine Turnpike Authority. And we have, I think we have.
We do. Somebody's coming. I don't know who, but. Oh, the whole gang.
Yeah, the whole gang. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you for being with us, everybody. We appreciate you being with us. We received the information you sent to us. Thank you for that. Would anybody like to make any comments, summary comments, or any kind of comments at all? You're certainly welcome.
We've been living with this statute, if I may, Senator, and Representative Martin, this is Peter Mills speaking, but we, the requirement for reporting certain transactions that exceed $10,000 is a very awkward provision of the law, because we oftentimes don't know until we're well into the year whether a given vendor will exceed the $10,000. We've interpreted the statute to mean that if they exceed $10,000 for the direct, by the end of the year, if the total transactions from that vendor have exceeded 10,000, and we owe you a report and an explanation for that vendor's activity. So it's an awkward statute to comply with. We have to keep looking backward to see if who's graduated into the $10,000 category as we move forward. And then we have to retroactively justify this whole or the purchase in some instances. So it's an awkward statute. I've tried to figure out how to amend it to fulfill the purpose of the statute and still make it simpler to enforce, but I haven't done that yet. It is difficult. I was involved in the creation of this statute. I don't think I wrote this part.
I think that I know part of that origination came from the Government Oversight Committee because of the issues of the past, and they wanted the committees of jurisdiction to mandate those reports get brought forward. But if you have any suggestions on changing that or proposing changes, this committee would always be welcome to hear that.
There's a lot of work that goes into this, if I may say, Mr. Chairman, and I really have sympathy for the university system, for example, which is probably 6 times bigger than we are in terms of its purchasing, and it's a big challenge to comply with this.
Exactly. Representative Perry has a question.
No, just I was about to say what you said, Senator Diamond. I think it had a lot to do with what went on prior to Director Mills, and I think it's something that someday Director Mills won't be there, so I think it's fine the way it is.
Thank you for that. Now, I do have a question about the stops, and I know that this a little bit off
Stops?
The various what do you call them? When you
Interchanges?
what is it?
Interchanges?
Yes. No, not the interchanges. Where the stores and gas stations and all that.
Oh, the
Service plaza.
service plaza.
Thank you, the plazas. I couldn't grab the word. At one point, you were having some trouble with those, especially in terms of some of the prices, gasoline and
Yes.
fuel and that sort of thing. Can you give us a little update on that?
Yes, we can. 4 or 5 years ago, I canceled the lease with CN Brown. We didn't cancel. We had the opportunity to declare it ended, and we put it out to competitive bid. And Irving bid on it, and CN Brown did, and there was one other company that Sun Oil, I think, did from down in New Jersey. But one of the provisions we put into the new lease was that the price that they could charge for gas or diesel may not exceed by any more than 10 cents per gallon the average price then prevailing in the state of Maine. And we found a standard to apply it to, and indeed it's a daily posting. I can't remember the name of the organization, but it's wasn't AAA.
Petroleum Services.
Yeah, it was a very good, it was almost like, the interest rates, LIBOR and stuff like that. And we found a very good and reliable standard. And 3 times a week, we have a guy that looks at that standard, and then they put out by email early in the morning, say, this is the maximum you're allowed to charge on our road. And in recent months, at least, and maybe longer than that, they are below that. They are well below that average. They're charging 10 today. Most recently, it's been 10% below what you see as the state's average. And they're allowed to be 10%. They're allowed to be above it a little bit, because one of the reasons that we agreed to let them go above it a little bit is because they can't sell beer. They don't sell ham, they don't sell sandwiches. And if you've noticed, every gas station you stop at nowadays, the days of the old-fashioned gas station are dead, except on the turnpike. And every gas station you see is really a C-store. And all the profit is in the sandwiches and the beer and the cigarettes. And that's true of CN Brown. They're the largest. They are the largest. I mean, Circle K is the biggest, probably, but CN Brown is the largest locally owned, Maine-owned C-store franchise business in Maine. And anyway, they came in with a low bid, and they have agreed to abide by a new cap. It used to be the cap was way up. It was like 20 or 30 cents above. I can't remember what it was, but it was a lousy standard. And so people, I was getting calls, sometimes from state senators, saying, my God, you're 20 cents higher than what it is off the road. Well, anyway, we limited it so it could be no more than 10 cents. And I will say to you, for the past, I think it's been about at least the past year, the guy that runs CN Brown, that guy named Steve Lawrence, I said, Steve, I said, you're way below the average lately. I'm not complaining. I'm very, how can you do that? He said, look, Peter, he said, the current margin, the retail margins on fuel right now, everybody's making money, he said. And I have, he says, because I'm on the turnpike, I've got access to volume and I'm exploiting that. And we're making good money on this, even though we're below the prices that are being charged off the road. There was a time when he went after the diesel market because we have nothing but trucks at night, particularly, and we got a lot of trucks. And if he can make them fill up, it's good volume for him. So his diesel prices have been fairly reasonable all along. And the other thing we did, the lease says that it always was that they had to pay us rent of 10 cents a gallon. That's the rent. That's all we get. We don't charge them anything for the space, just it's based on volume. So I made it so that if they could exceed the volume for the year that was like 5 years ago, I forget when it was, whenever we wrote the lease, that if they could get above that volume within the calendar year, we would go down to 8 cents. So there would be a volume incentive. And they've been getting the 8 cent rate beginning in September. Their volume has gone up because they controlled their prices. They made it up. They're making a good profit on just the fact that they're selling more gas. That could be a double-edged sword. I mean, there may be some people who would argue that the turnpike shouldn't be quite so competitive with the private sector. But on the other hand, I think we've struck a balance that at least I'm happy with it. And we've held those same lease provisions.
Thank you for all you did on that, because I was one of those that called, as you know, and I thought that your fixing that situation was remarkable. And now I like you say, I know traveling that a lot, there are places that are cheaper than what I can get right in North Windham. So
yeah.
Representative.
The other thing you might want to know is that we imposed on them the state average as the standard, and for whatever reason, the average north of Lewiston is much lower than the average south of Lewiston. And so if you use the state average, it makes them even more competitive in the area that we serve, which is Southern Maine.
Right. Wonderful. Thank you. Representative Perry.
Whoop. Am I there?
You're there.
Lobster boats.
Everything went away for a second, so I don't know what happened. Yeah, and I was one of the other ones, Senator Diamond, that was mentioned about that on the turnpike. But I also want to follow up with what Director Mills said. Since November, when I bought my new diesel pickup, I think I've bought diesel on the turnpike every time but once or twice, because it has been a lot more competitive. Some of the stations have been unbelievably high and kind of price gouging high compared to almost every other station. And one's right down the street from me. And but I've gone, because I have Kennebunk fairly close to my house, so it's fairly easy to jump on and jump off and fill up down there. But no, I think it's good, and I think it helps the truckers. I think, and with your volume discount that you're giving, it's helping CN Brown too by being a little bit more competitive, for all year. So I think it's a real good idea, and they've done a good job at that. But keep the diesel price low so I can keep buying cheap diesel.
Yeah, cheap is relative these days. Other questions or comments from the committee? Mr. Director, do you have other comments you wish to make? Anything else you want to share with the committee, or take your cards and go?
No, we're always happy to engage with you.
Yeah, well, we appreciate your work, and thanks for sending the information out. And It's been an enjoyable experience working with the Maine Turnpike Authority, with you and Aaron and all your team. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
In the last presentation is the Maine Port Authority, and I think we have someone from there, Darlene.
We do. If I can find him. Oh, there he is. It's Bruno Anicio. Hope I said his name right, but. There he is.
Bruno Anicio, good afternoon, welcome. We don't, are you with us? Mr. Anicio?
Yeah,
Ah,
there he is.
You are.
Yes. Yes, sorry about that. I was muted.
No, good afternoon and welcome. We,
Well, I just want to start. I am. I think you made a mistake. I'm the Brini Nassif. I'm Director of Public Services for the Bureau of Motor Vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
oh.
I
Well,
thought you,
you just hold on a minute, okay?
Yes.
We'll get to you. Do we have Bruno, do you think?
well, that is Bruno, but I thought, that's my mistake. I
mean,
thought he was,
Sorry, did you have the person from the Maine Port Authority? Yes.
I don't.
Darlene, you don't have a Matthew Burns?
Oh, yep, I do. He just raised his hand. See him?
Yeah, I believe that's the guy.
Okay.
All right. We'll get him on board. Sorry, Bruno, just hold with us. We'll get to you.
No worries. Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Burns, good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. We would invite you to make, we have your report. But we'd invite you to make any comments, any summaries, anything you'd like to share with the committee, it'd be welcome.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, appreciate that. Nothing outstanding that I'd like to comment on, but happy to take any questions or provide any information that the committee would like.
At some point this, before the session ends, we would like to come down, or at least I know there are some, and anyone, all committee members would be invited, would like to come down and do a tour. That's something that's, you could arrange for us maybe sometime in April.
Absolutely, sir. Yeah, please let me know anytime you'd like to take a tour. I'd be happy to take yourself and any other committee members that would be interested. I would take real pleasure in that. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I think it's time we did that. We did it a few years ago, and there would be a lot of change since then. So it'd be nice for the committee members to see that. Representative Martin?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Burns, for appearing before us. I noticed in your letter that you submitted to the committee that your report must include, among other things, a list of procurements exceeding $10,000 for the preceding years. Has that been submitted to the committee?
Yes, sir. I believe that's correct. Everything that met that criteria should have been included in that report.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Other questions? Mr. Burns? I think we're all set. Don't see any, so thank you very much. We appreciate your information you sent to us, and we look forward to maybe having a visit a little late when it gets a little bit warmer.
Absolutely, sir. Please let me know. I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you. We will. Next is the presentation from the Bureau of Motor Vehicles for this past year, 2021. It's an overview report, and Madam Secretary, I know you're here, but so is Benicio, but we'd go to you first, Secretary Bellows, if you'd like to make any comments, presentations, etc.
Thank you. And Darlene, thank you, Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, distinguished members of the Transportation Committee. I'm Secretary of State Shanna Bellows, a resident of Manchester. I'm thrilled to be here. Darlene, I know this is an opportunity. We want to give the annual overview that we always give about our operations. We're extraordinarily proud of the accomplishments of the last year. We've also had some significant and important leadership changes over the past year. And we wanted to introduce you to the new division directors and some veteran division directors. So we have a presentation led by BMV Deputy Secretary Kathy Curtis. So if Kathy Curtis could be brought in, as well as, I'll just read through the list.
I've got the list. I'm pulling them all in.
Terrific. So I'm actually not going to do a lot of talking in this presentation because we have an incredible team, a dedicated staff of 370 Bureau Motor Vehicle employees who work every day to serve the people of Maine, to keep our roadways safe. In fiscal year 21, this extraordinary team of people conducted over 3.7 million different transactions to serve the public and generated over $117 million to the highway fund for roads and bridges. So it's an incredible body of work, and I'm going to, with no further ado, turn it over to Deputy Secretary of State Kathy Curtis, who's going to lead the presentation. I know all of you know Deputy Secretary Curtis. We were very fortunate when she agreed to return to Maine to be the Deputy Secretary after a decade at the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, bringing back those national best practices, as well as 3 decades of experience with motor vehicles. So Deputy Curtis.
Welcome.
Thank
Good
you.
afternoon, Representative Deputy Curtis. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you very much, Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, and members of the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation. It's really our pleasure to be here today. We really welcome this opportunity to brag about our organization a bit and to give you a highlight of some of our accomplishments over the past year. We did provide a written report to you, which I'm going to share my screen right now so that you can see that written report. With me? Well, so this is a copy of the written report that you should have received by now, just the cover of it. And then we have a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to review with you to hit the highlights of that. So let me open that. And I believe you can see this PowerPoint presentation now?
Yes.
Great. Okay. So we have on our agenda today, as you just heard, Secretary Bellows was introducing our presentation. This is a great opportunity for all of you to meet our leadership team. And we want to talk about some of our significant accomplishments, talk about our purpose, our mission, our values, and our vision. And then give an overview of each of our divisions. This is a organizational chart. I know it's hard to see on the screen, but it is in your written report on page 7. And what I just want to emphasize here is that we have 7 divisions that are across the middle of the page. Each of those divisions have a division director. They report to me and I report to the Secretary Bellows. And we're going to have you get to know these division directors today. So I'm going to ask each of them to introduce themselves to you. And in the presentation in a few minutes, you'll hear a little bit more from each of them. But we're first going to have Dave LaChance introduce himself to you. And as he does, and you're going to see that we have 7 directors. 3 of them have been with the Bureau in their director's role for some time. 2 of the directors have been within the Bureau for many years, but just recently promoted into the role of a director. And then we have 2 brand new directors from outside of state government that we are going to, that you're going to have a chance to meet. And we're really proud of this management team. They bring institutional knowledge combined with fresh new ideas from outside state government. And it's just creating a wonderful combination that's really going to lead this organization through the next several years.
Deputy Curtis, would you mind, as you're presenting these people, if committee members have questions, we'll also ask questions at the end. Would that be disruptive to you if we have questions during that time?
You certainly, of course you may. Okay. So Dave LaChance, would you like to introduce yourself? I know he's familiar to you.
Thank you, Kathy. It's a pleasure to be here, to see all of you once again. Being the finance guy for the Secretary of State, you've seen me in some of the public hearings as well as the budget discussions. I've been with the Bureau for 14 years, prior to that 11 years in the Bureau of the Budget. So that's how I got involved with state government, and prior to that in the private sector. So I'm responsible for finance and administrative services. And what that means is I have six sections. But Kathy, if we can go to the first slide for administrative services.
Dave, we're going to go through the, we're going to have everybody introduce themselves.
Oh,
first.
okay. Okay, thank you.
So Chris Ireland, would you like to introduce yourself?
Senator Diamond, Rep. Martin, and members of the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation. Good afternoon. I'm Chris Ireland. I'm one of the two new folks from outside. It's an honor to be here with you today. I'm the Director of Driver License Services. I arrived at the Bureau in November and currently live with my family in Pittston.
And I know David Gilmet, Director of Enforcement, Anti-Theft and Regulation, is a familiar face to you. Dave, would you just like to say hello?
I would. Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, distinguished members of the Transportation Committee. I'm Dave Gilmet. I'm the Director of Enforcement, Anti-Theft and Regulation. I've been in law enforcement offices since 1971. I've been with this agency for 38, please don't do the math. I've been with this agency for 38 years, and I've been in this position for 22 years. I was born and raised in Gardner, and I now live in Richmond. So thank you very much.
And Lynn Gardner.
Good afternoon, Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, and members of the committee. My name is Lynn Gardner. I'm the Division Director for Legal Affairs. I have actually more than 20 years of state service here and there, including a stint working for the Maine legislature. I've been with the Bureau since 2014, and I've been Director of this division since November of 2020. And I live in Eddington with my husband, a couple of almost grown-up sons, and 3 cats.
And Valerie Grant.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Valerie Grant, and I'm the Director for the Division of Title Services. I have worked in the Bureau of Motor Vehicles since 1980. There again, Dave Gilmet, we can do the math, right? I have worked in the title section for my first 32 years. And then I went on and worked in the registration and municipal and agent services section for 9. Most recently in September, I came back to title as the director. I currently reside in the town of Monmouth with my husband. I have 1 son and I have 3 granddaughters, one who's 8, and I have twin 18-month-old granddaughters as well. Thank you.
Thanks.
And Bruno Anicio, glad that you're still working with the Bureau of Motor Vehicles.
Thank you, Kathy. So now I have my opportunity to introduce myself. So Bruno Anicio, thank you, Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, and distinguished members of the Transportation Committee. I'm delighted to be here today and meeting you. So I'm the Director of Public Services for Bureau of Motor Vehicle. I have more than 20 years of experience with operations and customer service. The last 8 years I've spent at Unum, a insurance company in Portland area. In my last role there was the Director of Corporate Strategy. I reside in Brunswick with my wife and 2 boys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So as you can see, we're very pleased to have this incredible team. Their bios and pictures are in your written report on pages 3 through 5. As you can see, they're an impressive group.
Secretary Curtis, did we skip Nikki Batchelder or did I miss it?
Oh, we did. We did.
We did skip.
Nikki, my apologies.
No worries.
Hi, every one of the members of the Transportation Committee. I'm Nikki Batchelder. I'm the Director of Vehicle Services. I've been with the Bureau for 14 years. 9 of those were as the supervisor of the registration section, and I was promoted to the Division Director position in June of 2021. So fairly new in the position, and was born and raised in Reedfield, still live on that same property, and live there with my husband and 3 cats, and we have 1 grown daughter. So thank you.
Nikki, you also do the ACP program?
Yes, yes.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thanks to everybody, but we've never put a face to that, so it's nice to see you.
Great. Well, thank you. As you can see, so proud of this group. So we're going to take a few minutes just to tell you about some of our significant accomplishments over the last year. And we have faced some incredible challenges with the pandemic, but through this entire year, and 2 years really, we have managed to carry out our mission very successfully. We've also spent a lot of time and effort making sure our employees know how much we really appreciate them. During these times, it's especially important to celebrate every success and to make sure that our employees know how much they're valued. You've heard us talk some about the backlog in the title division and how we successfully eliminated it. And by we, I mean under Valerie Grant's leadership. She did such a wonderful job. She's going to talk a little bit more about that later. You're familiar with the electronic titling working group that you directed us to create. And that group has been studying and planning for an implementation of electronic lien and title program. And we relocated the Bangor branch. And I know you've been hearing a bit about that as well. And we're really pleased that that branch office gives our customers a much better experience and gives our employees a really comfortable work environment. We also had a specialty plate working group this year, study the challenges related to those specialty plates, and we presented the findings and recommendations to you. And you've been hearing a lot about our catalytic converter working group. They had spent, as you know, a significant amount of time discussing and identifying the problems and the solutions. And as that bill will be making it through the legislature, and I'm really hopeful that that program can actually be a national model. I know that many states are struggling with the theft of catalytic converters. States are trying to figure out what to do, and we'll keep them informed of our success and hopefully be able to share what we've accomplished with that as time goes on. Our main function to issue driver identification vehicle credentials. We've been doing that effectively and efficiently. And we collect a lot of data, and that has been maintained and highly secured by very experienced information technology professionals. As you hear, we collect revenue, and that has been recorded accurately. And you know, sometimes I think we take that for granted. But when we think about the various sources of revenue that come through this organization, from every single town in the state, from from every driver in the state, from our branch offices, we have agents, we have partners collecting revenue, that all ends up here. And our team does an incredible job accounting for all of that. We also take all of the resources that you give to us very seriously. When you approve our budget, we know it's up to us to spend that money very thoughtfully and with integrity, and we do that. We, under Secretary Bellows' leadership, we have really made diversity, equity, and inclusion a priority. And we are trying to expand our workforce and improve our customer service for all Mainers. And as I had said earlier, we have been working in person and directly with the public through the entire pandemic. We've had many of our employees miss time because they were sick or their family members were sick or they didn't have school or daycare options. But I'm incredibly proud of this team for pulling together and prioritizing the workload, finding new efficiencies and streamlining processes and getting the work done, even though in many cases we have been really short-staffed, either in our branch offices or in the units within the main office. And then the last accomplishment that I want to tell you about is something that's very near and dear to my heart. And that is that we have created an exhibit of the historic license plates that are displayed in our building foyer. And I have to tell you, this is something that I dreamed about years ago when I was in this position and always felt that I left it undone. So we have created this two cases right now that show the general issue plates from 1905 to 1935 on one wall, and across the hall on the other wall of the general issue plates from 1936 to the current Chickadee plate of 1999. We have a third display case that's up, and we will be putting all of our current plates in that display case. Then we are going to be creating a case full of memorabilia from our driver license examiners, from some of their old uniforms to some exam booklets that people have used over the year to study, to take their tests. And I think all of this together is really going to share with Maine people our history as a bureau. And one thing that we've noticed is sometimes when you walk through this hall, you'll see an employee standing in front of the plates taking a selfie. I think it's really been a source of pride for our employees. They've been, it really just shows how, what a difference that the Bureau of Motor Vehicles has made in people's lives by just a license plate on their vehicle that they walk by every single day.
Isn't that true? Representative Martin has a question.
Okay.
Danny, are you there with us?
I am, Mr. Chair. I apologize. I was muted.
Okay.
Thank you. Kathy, would you be so kind to send photos or pictures of those license plate demonstration to committee members, please?
I will certainly do that. They're also in your book in the report that we sent to you, but I can email some photos, these photos right to you so that if you want to use them for some other purpose, you'll have the digital format.
Electronic copies would be great. Thank you so much.
We're happy to do that.
Deputy, I have a pair of porcelain covered steel plates with the stamp of the producer on the back, and it's 1912. I don't know if you have one of those or not, but I'd be happy to share that with you if you don't.
Well, great. The first three plates did not contain a year on it, and I think this plate is a 1914, so I don't believe we have a 1912. Seems to be a little empty spot right there in that picture. Perhaps
think of a better place to have it.
Great. Well, thank you. That's really great.
Another question. On the real ID, can you update everybody on that? Because questions are starting to come in. When are they going to be required, and when can they get their real ID license? And can you give us a little summary on that, please?
Sure. A person is able to get a real ID right now. The federal government is not going to require real IDs for flying or getting into certain federal buildings until the spring of 2023. I don't have the date in front of me. It's either March or May of 2023. We can certainly get that to you. It was supposed to be during the pandemic, but the federal government moved that date out.
Right.
But a person can get a real ID right now.
What do they need to bring with them if they're going to get a license, a real ID, just so that's out there in the public again?
Yes. They need to have proof of citizenship or certain other documents to prove that they are eligible for, that they're in the country legally. They also need to provide proof of residency. And there's a list of the actual documents on our website,
Okay.
because it can get complicated, because if you don't have certain documents, there can be some substitutions for other documents. But that whole list is on our website, and I'm happy to send that to you as well.
Yeah, would you please, just because I think people are gonna, I know they're starting to ask, and the committee members and myself included, it might be helpful if we got a quick reference to that. That would be helpful. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Representative Bryant has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Deputy Curtis. I just looking at the organizational chart back along, and you had a deputy secretary specialist, and it wasn't there currently. It's coming possibly in the future. But what does that mean, and what does that do? Secretary specialist.
Oh, secretary specialist. That is an administrative assistant to our organization, and she is joining our group on Monday. And she'll be an administrative assistant to us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The other question that's come up in the news recently, and I suspect you're looking forward to at least talking a little bit about it, and that is the miscommunication or the lack of communication between the courts and BMV, and we get people out there who are driving that shouldn't be because of that lack of communication. And I would preface those remarks by saying this isn't the first time. It happens, and seems like it happens every once in a while in a variety of administrations of this job. So it's nothing specifically you've created as a problem. It's something that kind of is there. Can you tell us how you're dealing with that and how that's being addressed, and hopefully prevent that from happening again, people driving?
Yes, yes, I'll be happy to, and I'll also invite Secretary Bellows to join the conversation. But we take this very seriously. It is very concerning to us. There's a lack of communication and a lack of understanding of the law between our two organizations, the court system and us. We feel very strongly that the court system should be providing this information to us. And we're going to work with them to straighten out this lack of communication and find a way to get that information to our organization. Either electronically would be great, but if we can't get it electronically, somehow get it manually so that these are not missed. And Secretary Bellows will be leading that effort to improve the communications between our organizations. And then here at the Bureau, we're also going to do a better job tracking those. So when we receive one bit of information, but it's not enough to suspend someone, we will make sure that we are all on top of finding ways to make the court understand that we need the additional information.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to invite Secretary Bellows to add to that.
I just wanted to add, Chief Justice Valerie Stanfill and I met this morning with head of the Prosecutors Association, Megan Maloney, to discuss the challenge. And we are jointly fully committed to resolving this. We've identified a couple of issues. One of those is, so keep in mind, the Bureau of Motor Vehicles issues between 35,000 and 50,000 suspensions annually. The vast majority of those are out of Title 29A, the motor vehicle statutes. And we do have an automated system for transmission of that information from the courts to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. It's happening fairly smoothly and efficiently. Unfortunately, and ironically, when it's a crime against a person arising out of Title 17A, there isn't an automated systemic transmission from the courts to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. And so that's the missing link. Today, we discussed improving communication systems so that our BMV staff has a direct line to people who understand the issue and can immediately get us what we need. We discussed a technology solution. So the courts are investigating whether they can make an adjustment to their system and also to the prosecutor's system. It was actually an idea from the prosecutors about adding a flag if it's motor vehicle related and it's a crime against a person, so that there's an automatic transmission of that information to our system without human intervention. And then we're going to have a follow-up conversation tomorrow with our larger teams that's being scheduled right now to talk through communications, processes to resolve some of the misunderstanding or miscommunication about what's legally required, and to talk through how we, all three entities, audit cases over the last couple of years to see if there are any other situations like the one that was uncovered this week, so that we can make sure that every suspension that needs to be put into place is put into place as soon as possible. So we really appreciate that conversation this morning, and look forward to finding solutions on all fronts as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Representative O'Connell has a question.
Yes, thank you, sir. Secretary Bellows, there seems to be one county in the state, and I'm not going to say the name, that keeps coming up with this situation. And I didn't know if there was going to be any extra energy put into that county to help alleviate the failure to communicate that we've seen happen time and time again with that one county. And I think you know which one I'm talking about. And I'm just in hopes that the situation can be alleviated in the future.
I want to communicate my gratitude because I know the DA assistant and assistant DAs specifically are really working hard to resolve what's happened. And I think the larger systemic issue of lack of smooth communication of Title 17A violations between the courts and the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, I think it is something that where we have situations in other counties as well. We identified 4 other instances earlier this week where we have some documentation, but not all the documentation that we need. And there are other counties that's not just arising from one county. But we really do appreciate how quickly the courts and the DAs have engaged. And I think we all have the same goal. We want to keep people safe. And it's just tragic that this is a situation that's uncovered some of this challenge. And in a conversation earlier today, what was the interesting thing is it seems like communications pre-automation were actually perhaps more reliable in this area. Automation of the Title 29A transmissions took some of the focus off the transmissions of this Title 17A violations, and that's a good reminder to us as we automate processes, as we invest in technology and modernization. We need to make sure that no aspect of what we do gets left behind.
Thank you very much. There is one good thing, that the situation can only get better.
That's right.
Thank you.
And I know everyone's committed to making that happen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And, Madam Secretary, in your the uniqueness of your job, will you be you personally, your office, where you go every morning? Will you be receiving that line of communication that's coming from the courts and the various places, or will you be secondary to that communications?
So what we've discussed internally, and I'll defer to Deputy Curtis and then Director Ireland as well, is so really the transfer of communications in terms of the paperwork to make these suspensions happen needs to happen in the Division of Licensed Services. We have both an OUI division and a court records division that oversees these suspensions and does these every day. So that's who really needs the paperwork. But we talked about internally, we are developing a process for review and auditing of these cases and escalating them, so that if there is a county or if there is a situation or a case where staff is not getting the answers they need, they can escalate it first to the deputy and then to myself, so that I can call whoever I need to call. We can go to the courthouse, we can get this documentation immediately and not have any delay. And so my staff has heard loud and clear from me that that's my commitment. And I'm going to be part of every conversation with the courts and the DAs as we move forward with resolving these policies and processes and communications.
I understand what those various departments do, but I was more focused on just, it seems to be a safety valve. If I wouldn't expect you to get the volumes of information, it'd be some type of communication list where you just get a notification that this is coming through. This is one of the issues, such as we just experienced somehow. So there's some, you have some exposure to the potential, and then you'd be able to be on top of it.
Thank you. That's an excellent idea. Spoken like a former secretary with a lot of experience. Thank you, former Secretary Diamond.
It's important for you to have that. Other questions? I guess we're back to you, Deputy Curtis.
Great, thank you very much. So as you had, we had just talked about, our mission is to provide exemplary driver licensing and vehicle services, which promote safety, efficiency, fairness, and convenience. And that's, we just had that conversation about how safety is really important to us. And we want to be recognized as a trusted and leader in public service. And our core values are leadership, safety, integrity, quality, accuracy, honesty, respect, integrity, equity, and inclusion, and teamwork. And that really describes our organization. And just to kind of hit some of the highlights of some numbers that Secretary Bellows just spoke about a little while ago. We did collect little over $117 million for the highway fund last year, over $1 million for the general fund, and almost $2 million in other funds. Our expenditures, for just a little over 42 million for the highway fund. We don't have any general fund expenditures, and the 940,000 out of the other funds. And just to kind of give you an example of, when we talk about the magnitude of the work that we do here, we had 3,759,072 total transactions, 625,000 incoming phone calls last year, and 362,915 in-person customers. And that's during the pandemic. So our staff really is to be commended for all that they actually get done each and every day. So with that, really wanted to turn it over to the division directors that you just met and have them tell you a little bit more about their divisions. So I'm going to turn it over to Dave LaChance first, and he's going to talk about administrative services in a little more detail. Dave?
Thank you, Kathy. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Good, okay. So some of the highlights of the Administrative Services Division, which has finances under it, as Kathy and Jenna both mentioned, we collected over $119 million. And we're very proud of that because that is almost a third of the total highway fund revenues. We talk about fuel taxes with DOT, but 119 million, that was an all-time high over the last 10 years. And so we did a lot of work. It takes a lot of cooperation from all the staff, but it was really a banner year. Now, that won't happen this year, but I just want to bring that to light because it was unbelievable what we accomplished under the circumstances. And as Kathy mentioned, $42 million worth of expenditures, which is actually, we produce 2.5 times more revenue than we do than we have for expenditures. So we're kind of proud of that too, and we keep an eye on it. And thirdly, we also provide operational support, not only for BMV, but for archives and CEC, our sister bureaus, for all employees within the department. Within administrative services, there's 6 sections. I'll go through those really quickly. First of all, we have the accounting section. As you can imagine, not only do they collect revenues, but they also pay our bills. And that was crucial during the pandemic when we had to keep things going. We had a very skeleton crew that came in to do that. We were very fortunate. We streamlined some operations, And we made it work. It was unbelievable, the cooperation. I'm so proud of that section for really stepping up. Secondly, we have the audit services. We have 5 people. We have 4 auditors plus a manager over the staff that conduct audits on a 5-year rotation of the 460 municipalities. And they make sure that the towns have internal controls, that they're collecting funds on behalf of VMD, that their inventories are proper, or validation stickers and license plates, all the necessary things you would think about. The third area is the facilities management, inventory management section. And this includes two-pronged. One, the facilities management deals primarily with the branches in the main office, making sure that everyone has a comfortable work environment, making sure we do reconfigurations, and anything else, HVAC, heating, you name it. These folks, there's only 2 guys that do this, and they're unbelievable what they have to keep track of. The inventory and management section is what we call the stockroom. That is on the ground floor of the main office, and they take care of distributing all of the plates, forms, validation stickers to all the towns, the branch offices, and it's unbelievable the volume that they're responsible for. For example, they had approximately 3 million stickers that were produced annually through one person in that group, and the person is 80 years old. So we're kind of proud of that. The other area is the manufacturing of plates, the license plates. We have a MOU with the Department of Corrections, and the plate shop down in Warren produces over 600,000 plates annually. So again, we're very dependent upon them. We work as partners with them, and we're very, very proud of that cohesiveness. The 4 sections of financial services, the one-person shop. This person is unbelievable, the amount of work she gets done, and she's responsible for the biennial budget, the supplemental budget, doing the work programs, doing revenue forecasting, doing cash expenditures, for projections, and it's just unbelievable what she can get done, among other special projects. Human resources section is involved with taking care of all of our recruitment, our onboarding, our offboarding, making sure that if we have any issues with discipline, that people work with them, making sure the performance management is dealt with properly. And again, we have a very small unit there of only 3 people. It also includes staff development, training, and most recently, support of diversity, equity, and inclusion, as Kathy mentioned earlier. And the last section is the records management and retention section. This section, again, is responsible for taking care of scanning and retrieval of documents. We oftentimes get what we call cold case requests from law enforcement. And if there's particular documents that are needed by law enforcement, registrations or so forth, they somehow find a way to find those documents. It's unbelievable. It can be 20, 30 years ago, and they somehow come up with it. We're very proud of them. So if there are no questions, I'll pause and see if there are any questions.
Dave, I have a question. Are all of your employees back now on site?
Yes, they are, Senator.
100%?
Yes, they are.
Okay, thanks.
If there are no further questions, I'd like to turn it over to my esteemed colleague, Chris Highland.
Thanks, Dave. Ladies and gentlemen, good to be back with you. I'd like to spend a couple minutes talking to you about 89 Mainers who work the policy process and products related to the driver side of the motor vehicle enterprise here in the state of Maine. As you know, being licensed to drive or having a state ID does 2 big things. First off, it allows the citizen to have access into government systems to get what they need out of their government. And secondly, it potentially gives us the mobility with a driver's license to improve their quality of life and to get the most out of what they need here in Maine. It's a business we enjoy and we take very seriously because of what hangs in the balance with what we do. We do fundamentally 3 main functions. The first is we ensure that an applicant is suitable for the credential they're applying for, and then we go ahead and issue them that credential when they meet those requirements. Secondly, we're the keeper of the standards of the privilege of driving. Our schedulers ensure that folks are ready to actually be scheduled for an exam, and then our examiners are the ones making sure that nobody gets a license if they're not safe to actually operate a vehicle of any class on the roads of Maine. And third, as we talked about a minute ago, we enforce the statutes and withhold that privilege when necessarily in accordance with the statutes of the state of Maine and the directions of the courts of the state of Maine. We do all of this in concert with our close colleagues you'll hear from in a minute in the Public Services Division, and that we may be the ones working policies and process, but we acknowledge fully that the Public Services team in the branches is doing the preponderance of the work when it comes to engaging our fellow Mainers. Next slide. To give you a quick sense of scope, the state of Maine has over roughly about 1.1 million licensees of all classes, of which about 65,000 or so are commercial driver licensees. You can see from the two charts here that the rate of folks coming forward to sit for the written exams for either commercial or non-commercial licensure is starting to return to or above pre-pandemic levels. And that's obviously keeping us busy to help people earn that privilege and get out and do what they need to do. The team that works that part of the process is really twofold. It's our team in the examination section that receives those applications and schedules those exams, and then the examiners themselves that conduct those evaluations both at the branches and then out on the roads of Maine. You'll recall from our discussion earlier this year about the entry-level driver training. That combined team surged from about 150 CDL written exams per week to over 850. Secretary came by last week and gave the team a great big verbal hug, which was greatly appreciated. It's indicative of the kind of work they can do when the moment calls them to it. For the next slide, please. Looking across the rest of the division, throw some acronyms at you: the Commercial Driver License Information System, or the Problem Driver Pointer System. Fundamentally, it's a machine-to-machine interface between our driver license system and the rest of the states across the United States for the commercial driver portion of the national driving enterprise. We received an email about a week ago. This is two Mainers sitting in a couple of cubicles outside my door here. We received an email from the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators asking us, what are you doing right? You have less than a 1% error rate as you work to resolve all these problems. And that was pretty awesome to get that kind of praise. And we've got a moment coming up here where we're going to share with them how those two gentlemen are keeping all the data moving smoothly and correctly. License information, this is what I would call 1-800-BMV. In other words, when a constituent has a question, how do I get my license? What do I need for my real ID? They typically don't call into a branch, they'll call us here, and we answer those calls and provide them what they need. That's the largest volume of phone calls we have in the division. Oftentimes for the 7 people there, it's over 1,000 calls a week, trying to keep things moving and keep the information flowing. Also provide troubleshooting and working through tough cases on behalf of the branches so they can stay focused on the customers that are in front of them. The next 3 bullets really are what we call license control. So financial responsibility and accidents, court records, OUI, and habitual offenders. I tell you, this is where the tough conversations are happening every day. And the people doing this work here, we give them a medal for patience and professionalism. We do it every day and twice on Sunday. These are Mainers in difficult times for any number of different reasons. And they're trying to figure out how do we get that privilege back. And we are biased towards helping them to the right end state. We're obviously bound by statute, but it's about coaching them through and helping them understand what do they need to do to get back to their privilege. On the medical side, just to wrap it up, you're probably aware we have 17 functional ability profiles within the Secretary's rules that describe how we look at certain drivers and whether they are medically suitable to continue to drive. There's a portion in the written document that Deputy Secretary Curtis sent you earlier, a little chart, and it shows that we expect a significant uptick as the population of Maine continues to age and our demographics shift to an older population, that we're going to see more work in reviewing folks and whether they're medically ready to or medically able to continue to drive. And that's something we'll continue to work on. Fortunately, we have what's called a medical advisory board. This is 11 board certified physicians and counselors across many medical disciplines that help us think about those profiles. We're working right now really hard to get them data to understand what the impacts of those profiles are so that we can continue to make sure we've got good policy out there, keeping our roads safe. Those are volunteer practitioners giving us their time a couple times a year and then on call when we have a sticky wicket. In summary, I tell you, the Mainers in this division are passionate about their service to the state. They're proud of their accomplishments and what they've been able to do for their fellow Mainers despite COVID as they've fought through it over the last couple of years. I thank you for the opportunity to give you a quick insight, and I look forward to your questions.
Questions from the committee? Director Arlen? We're still using the DEEP program? for the
Yes,
ODI?
sir, we are. That's DHHS's program, DEEP program, but we are daily interfaced with them as drivers need to validate and go through some education on substance abuse or alcohol abuse before we can restore the privilege.
So they used to be in the executive branch, but now they're in HHS?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Representative O'Connell.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ireland, I just want to say shortly that quickly, the numbers you put out there are very, very impressive, and I compliment your team and what they deal with. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll be happy to pass that on, Representative O'Connell. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Other questions? Seeing none. Okay, we'll move on.
I will be followed by Dave Gilmet.
Thank you, Chris. Mr. Chairman, our division consists of three entities: the law enforcement, the dealer licensing, and driver rider education. The law enforcement unit consists of 14 sworn officers and 3 support personnel. Our detectives are uniquely trained, qualified, and authorized to pursue regulatory compliance and bring to prosecution crimes under the criminal and motor vehicle statutes. Part of our responsibilities include, but not limited to, enforcing the rules and regulations for the entire automobile industry. That includes recyclers. And under the proposed catalytic converter laws, if passed, we anticipate much more enforcement activity in this area of responsibility. Some of the types of cases that we investigate are auto theft, theft of auto parts, such as catalytic converters, title fraud, odometer fraud, registration evasion, driver license and state ID fraud, and consumer complaints, and more. Last year, our detectives closed 4,750 cases, and we returned $94,626 to the automobile consumer in the form of restitution. The chart in front of you shows a different type of cases that we have, and basically what it's doing is showing you the difference between 2019 and 2021. As you can see, most of our cases are pretty flat. They are pretty much the same. There was an increase this year. Just for example, on the salvage end of it, which would include recyclers, we anticipate with the catalytic converter law coming into effect, we anticipate that going up quite a bit. Next slide, please. The dealer licensing section, we have over 2,700 active dealers licensed. They're new car, used car, equipment, motorcycle, light trailer, and transporter. And we have over 14,000 dealer plates issued. This section consists of 3 personnel processing all the incoming and outgoing dealer activities. Last week, the dealer section processed $29,280, and among many other things, they sent out over 3,000 temporary plates. And lastly, our driver rider education section. This unit is staffed with 5 personnel, 2 compliance officers, and among other things, monitor the schools and the instructors and oversee the regulatory compliance of the schools and instructors. They conduct investigations to determine the compliance with governing rules and regulations. The one motorcycle safety coordinator oversees the entire motorcycle safety education program. He provides training for the instructors. He monitors the schools and the instructors while on the range with the students. There are 8 motorcycle schools with a total of 12 ranges, and he made 75 site visits last summer. That 75 site visits is actually number one in the nation for visiting the ranges as the students are going through the process. We have one support personnel and one supervisor that oversees the entire program. Together, they process all the paperwork and answer all the phone calls, and they keep up on all the rules and rule changes as needed. Currently, we have 128 driver education schools, 19 commercial schools, and 8 motorcycle schools. In 2021, we had 13,606 driver education students, over 3,000 more students than what we had in 2019. And also in 2021, we had 4,101 motorcycle students, and that's about 1,000 more than what we had in 2019. And I've taken up plenty of time. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them or try.
Thank you very much, Dave. Questions from Mr. Gomet? Seeing none. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I'd like to pass it on to my colleague, Lynn Gardner.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Lynn Gardner. I'm the Director of Legal Affairs. And so the primary function for our division is to administer the administrative hearings program. And I know you heard from the beginning about fairness being one of our goals, and everyone in this agency and all of my colleagues' divisions strive to be fair in the decisions they make. But my division is an additional due process review of actions that the agency has taken. So that's, as you're probably aware, whenever a government agency takes an action, in our case, it's usually a license suspension, there needs to be an internal review process of that where that person can challenge that action to say, present a case and say, here's why I think that action wasn't correct. And so my division holds the hearings that take those arguments in and make decisions. And so the decisions that we make constitute final agency action on behalf of the Secretary of State, and they're directly appealable to the Superior Court. My division is not very big. We have total of 12 staff, including myself and an assistant director. The hearings are conducted by a staff of 4 attorney hearings examiners and 1 assistant hearings examiner. And they are also occasionally conducted by myself and the assistant director. Also within our division is the administration of the Motor Vehicle Franchise Board, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And apart from the internal review that we do for BMV actions, we also serve as a hearings unit, essentially, for some other agencies. So right now we are just about ready to start conducting notary public commission revocation hearings on behalf of the Bureau of Corporations, Elections, and Commissions. And we have for a number of years been conducting lemon law arbitrations on behalf of the Attorney General's office, as well as fact-finding hearings on behalf of the Bureau of Marine Resources when they administratively suspend a marine resource license. So this graphic gives you just kind of an overview of kind of volume-wise the types of hearings that we do. I actually was counting up and realized we do more than 50 individual types of hearings that we conduct in our division. As you can see from this, the big blue section there is about 60% of them are for OUI-related suspensions. Other types of hearings, though, that we conduct include numerous types of traffic violations, traffic infractions, habitual offender hearings, 3 accident reviews, financial responsibility reviews, medical reviews, just to name a few. So the Motor Vehicle Franchise Board is housed within my division, and that actually administers the main motor vehicle franchise law. And within my division, we have a staff attorney who serves as the chair of that board, and he is responsible for the day-to-day administration of board activities. We have a total of 4 administrative support staff members. One of those serves as an assistant to me and as an administrative assistant to the chair of the Motor Vehicle Franchise Board. The other 3 positions are very important to the to the administration of our division. They are the staff members who support the hearings examiners administratively. They do the scheduling work. They are the primary point of contact for the public, and they do things like explain to people how this hearing process works. If it's not hearings that can help you, who in the agency can help you. So they actually have a tremendous amount of contact with the public, and they do a great job of helping folks through a difficult process. So the last responsibility of our division is to provide essentially in-house counsel for the Bureau. And that's largely myself and the assistant director who we answer legal questions for folks within the Bureau. We provide guidance, training, advice for whatever might come our way. And with that, unless there are questions, I will hand it off to my colleague. Oh, I think I see a question.
Yeah, the questions,
Or 2.
Representative O'Connell.
Thank you, sir. I know that you live in my division that I am responsible for power. So can you tell me just what road you live on? And then if you are out of power, please call my company and you can call me. And I'll do my best to get you back in power as quick as I can. What road do you live on?
I live on Riverside Drive in Eddington, Route 178.
That's not a fun place to be, but that's okay. I've been there. I was there. I was on Riverside Drive today. So, okay. All right.
Thank you for that, Representative O'Connell. That was.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Gardner, I'm a former hearing officer for the Department of Education. So I'm always interested in the different structures that various departments and agencies hearing officers are in. Are yours employees of the state or are they contractors?
They are employees of the state. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's it.
Okay.
Other question, did someone said earlier that between 35 and 50,000 suspensions a year? Maybe I shouldn't be asking you. I probably should ask the gentleman. Yeah, that's about right. That seems low in past history. Maybe some point I can, if that's true, maybe I missed information at some point. Yes, so we can take on to the next one if you would like.
Okay, and that's my newest colleague, Bruno Inacio.
Oh, yes. Well,
Thank you, Lynn.
We saw you first, Bruno, so welcome back.
Thank you. So Public Service Division. So currently we have 13 branches, offices across the state of Maine and 1 mobile unit that provides in-person services. Some of these services include helping the public with driving license, state ID cards, license restorations, and vehicle registrations. Like my colleague, Chris Ireland mentioned, we work closely with the other divisions in making sure that we have the information updated to provide it to our citizens. I've been in this role for 2 weeks, and I have to say that I'm very impressed with the resilience and commitment of this team. We have a large team, around 89 employees currently, and getting through the pandemic and being open to the public, I think they've done an amazing job. So currently, some of the things we're focusing on is the first item is in order to help us with managing the flux of customers into our lobbies and providing more convenient access to our services, we are implementing an appointment system that will be used in addition to the walk-ins, and this will provide a convenient and safe way for our customers to wait for their turn. They can wait in the comfort of their vehicles if they decide to do so, and they'll get a text to notify them when it's their turn, and they can come back into the building. This has been implemented due to what happened to COVID, but I believe that will be a very convenient way to manage the influx into our lobbies. Second item is we're currently looking at existing technologies that can help us create efficiencies to just only improve the customer experience, but help with staff well-being. One of the things really important for us, and I think is probably the area that we would hear more complaints, is the customer. Since the pandemic had happened, we've seen a little bit more, is the customer wait times. And it's definitely one of our priorities. And we have developed several strategies to address it. So one of them is to improve staff retention. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank the group. I heard that you voted, you said yes this week. So we're going to be able to change some of our limited positions to permanent positions. So definitely was going to be a good help with staff retention. The other piece that we have seen some opportunity is with training. And again, thank you for allowing us to bring 2 customer service specialists. And we believe those 2 roles are going to be key to help us with the training and change some of those areas that we saw some opportunity on. On the last bullet we already addressed is just that appointment service that we believe is going to be very helpful. Again, thank you so much for your help. This week you have at least helped my division to provide us the right resources, so in order for us to provide the right services for our public. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Questions from the committee? Which branch, Bruno, is the one that seems to have the longest waiting time?
So currently we have it's Scarborough and Portland, and at times Kennebunk feels that they have.
Okay.
It varies depending on the day. Mondays or Fridays. It's not.
That's because of the volume, I assume.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I'll pass it to my colleague Valerie. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Valerie Grant. I'm the Director of Title Services. The Title Services Division is responsible for managing and maintaining proofs of ownership for all 1995 model year vehicles and newer, and trailers as well. We are there to protect ownership and lien interests and to help deter fraud and theft when applying for titles or issuing titles. The staff that we currently have, they work closely with various stakeholders, not limited to new car dealers, used car dealers, financial institutions, insurance companies, our BMV detectives. There's a lot more, but there's no sense in me listing them all. The unit or the division itself is comprised of 2 units. We have a production unit, which is a staff of approximately 12 or 13 people. And then we have the title examining staff, which is comprised of like 16 title examiners. So the production staff is actually responsible for handling all the incoming phone calls. They're the frontline support staff, helping customers on the phone. The production unit also is responsible for printing and mailing all the titles. The exam staff actually issues and approves or processes all the, reviews all the title applications. The division also is the only division that does examine and process all title applications. So all the applications that are completed at branch offices, at the town level, private sales, dealerships, they're all funneled to this bureau, and we're the ones that are responsible for actually finalizing that title document. The title program, where I've been with this bureau for so many years, unfortunately, there hasn't been a big change in the title program. Over the years, we have changed, we've updated computer systems, we've added some scanning functionality, letter writing functionality, that type of thing. But for the most part, the process has remained so paper-based. That hasn't changed hardly at all and over the last 40 years. Recently, we have been looking at an electronic lien and titling program. We've also established a e-titling working group to establish some guidelines and help us bring the division into a more modernizing way of processing titles. Let's see. I guess the next slide, Kathy. So this slide here is basically showing where we were in January of 2021. Back then, the backlog was over 78,000 title applications. At the end of December, and even currently now, we're down to maybe 2,000 to 3,000 applications behind. Unfortunately, the way the process works currently, there's no way of having it down to whatever we receive today in the mail, we're going to process the same day. So we're still down to like a 1 or 2 day process from the time the applications come into the office. It definitely has improved from the 78,000 back in 2021. What I did when I was hired into this position back in September, I took a look at what the staff was doing, how they were doing it. I ended up redirecting some workflows and having people that were better suited for certain workflows that were more experts on dealing with these things. So that helped get things in the right direction. I think the most important thing that I found that was most beneficial is communicating with the staff to let them know where we stood, setting clear expectations on what's needed, what direction the Bureau needs to go in, what we need to do to provide better customer service, engaging them in what needs to happen and getting their input. That has all made a big difference in getting us to where we are today. Currently, we really do not have a backlog, as I was just mentioning a second ago. I'm hoping as we continue with improving our processes, being more electronic, hopefully in the years to come, we will be able to serve our customers even better than we are today. That's it that I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Questions? Yes, Representative Bruce White.
Well, thank you. And mine's more of a comment. I recently had to have, a title change, and it was somewhat complicated. I never ran through it before, a repaired title, I guess it's called something. And I know Valerie was very helpful and the rest of the department. So I just want to thank you, and Katie Ladd, I believe it was, and then of course Dottie, who had been with BMB for a while. So thanks to everybody that helped out. It was a smooth process, and just wanted to say thanks.
Well, thank you. You're very welcome.
Thank you. Other questions? You did a great job, Valerie, you and your team and everybody. I mean, 78,000 was a nightmare for you, I know, but also for everybody out in the world of Maine needing those titles. And you really did a great job pulling
Well,
that together.
thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Very nice.
Thank you.
Yes,
sorry, Senator. Yeah, I was just, when I went down, I know the office building was closed. Is that status changed? I don't know exactly what that building was, but when I went and I had to go in for my title or drop some paperwork off, you couldn't go inside. Has that changed yet?
It still is it still is an appointment only. You can't just walk in, so you have to have an appointment. So as
Okay.
far as title customers, we're still taking customers when they call for an appointment, or they have to call ahead of time. And we're limiting the type of customers that we're allowing to make appointments. It used to be the local dealers would just drop off their title paperwork. But I think when the pandemic hit, I think they put a stop to that.
Right, and some things you can do it without having to go in, obviously.
Right.
But some things, I think with the mail, that's like my situation. I said, I won't wait to mail it to you. I dropped it off. Somebody came out. That worked out fine.
Yeah.
So in some cases, somebody can actually, if they make an appointment, go inside and meet with somebody. And I see Secretary Bell shaking her head, yeah. So, because it is awkward, obviously, if it's cold and rain, My case, again, I just had to drop off some paperwork. It worked out great.
Good.
I just was curious if somebody had to actually meet, they could do that.
Right.
I
Good,
can
thank
add,
you.
Yep.
and I can
Yes.
add
Madam Secretary, go ahead.
that we do have the building for appointment only here at 101 Hospital Street because of the pandemic, but we are reviewing all of our pandemic protocols over the next few months, and we'll, if the pandemic and the cases still continue to decline, we're hoping that we can lift some of those restrictions.
That would be nice. I think it'd be much more convenient, but I also understand you have to do what you have to do. There are some office buildings that are now open, and so I guess it sounds like everybody's doing their own thing with their own time. So
Our branch offices have remained open.
yes, thank you. All right, no other questions. We'll go on.
Okay, I turn that over to Nikki Batchelder.
Good afternoon again, members of the Transportation Committee. I am the Director over Vehicle Services Division. We manage all passenger and commercial vehicle services, which includes registrations, 63 different classes of plates, various permits, fuel taxes. We're also responsible for municipal agent services and motor carrier services. So within the division is our registration section, consists of about 10, 11 staff members. They provide information to the general public and help support our branch offices with any registration related procedures or processes. They answer about 1,300 phone calls a week. They process disability plates and placards, process long-term trailer registrations, which we're the only office in the state that does process those types of registrations. And in 2021, we actually brought in a little over $13 million for those LTT registrations. That was an increase of over $600,000 from 2020. We also deal with guidance and providing information on non-conforming vehicles. For military vehicles, we process the rapid renewals. So anybody who goes online and renews their registrations, we actually print your registration and fold them and mail them out to you. We also have 4 municipal coordinators who provide training and support to our municipal offices. We have 302 municipalities, and they vary in their authorization levels, but we help train them, answer any questions on a daily basis. Those 4 coordinators answer about 400 calls a week as well. They create all of the training materials for our towns. We've been holding all of our trainings virtually since the pandemic. Prior to that, we were going out into town offices or facilities, and people were signing up, coming in person for those trainings. Next slide, Kathy. Please, thank you. The other large area of vehicle services is our Office of Motor Carrier Services. So it consists of our commercial registrations, both interstate and intrastate. So our international registration program will register the trucks going out, the large trucks going outside of Maine to do commerce. We have about 1,400 interstate motor carriers with about 5,700 trucks and 2,600 intrastate carriers with about 17,000 trucks. That area also issues our oversize, over limit permits. We work with the Department of Transportation, sometimes state police, to be able to allow motor carriers to transport large objects like the windmills and whatnot to where they need to go. So they issue about 3,300 permits per year. We also administer the UCR program, which is Unified Carrier Registration. And that is a state-based motor carrier program for the collection of motor carrier safety related fees, as well as providing proof of insurance for the for-hire customers. We also deal with PRISM, which is the Performance Registration Information Systems Management Program. And that's a federal state partnership to improve motor carrier safety by tying the motor vehicle registration to the federal motor carrier safety ratings. So it allows our law enforcement to focus on their efforts on motor carriers who have demonstrated poor safety standards and practices. They also provide to us a list of carriers any carriers placed out of service. And then we will suspend their registrations. We also deal with CView, which is the Commercial Vehicle Information Exchange window. And this provides state and federal motor carrier safety data to the roadside for efficient and effective vehicle screening. Allows resources to focus on unsafe carriers and expedite inspection sites. Thank you. Our motor carrier audit section consists of 3 people. They conduct audits on the International Registration Plan, International Fuel Tax Agreement, and the Unified Carrier Registrations. In 2021, they conducted 44 IRP audits, 49 IRP audits, 44 IFTA audits, and 15 UCR audits in 2021. And that concludes my section. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you very much. Questions of Nikki? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you, and I'll turn it back over to Kathy.
Thank you all for those division updates. And Senator Diamond, that's the information we wanted to provide to you today. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate all of the support that you give to us through the legislative process. And we're happy to answer any additional questions that you have.
Excellent, thank you. You probably sent this booklet out, hard copy.
Did.
Yeah, somehow I didn't get it. Could you send one to the State House?
Absolutely.
Send it to anybody else who didn't get it, or if you got it and misplaced it, which is probably what I did. Appreciate that. Madam Secretary, did you have any kind of other comments that you'd like to make?
No, thank you, Senator Diamond. I'm so incredibly proud of this team. It's a really dynamic, thoughtful, innovative team. They're working really hard to constantly improve our public service and modernize our services to better serve the people of Maine. So thank you for this time.
Oh, absolutely. Representative Martin, you had it.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to comment, Madam Secretary and Kathy, you all know that this is my 8th presentation from the Secretary of State's office between this committee and state and local. This year's presentation is probably the most comprehensive and well put together presentation that I've seen in 8 years. So thank you so much.
Thank you. We're very proud of it. Thank you.
So you have a fantastic team, and the challenges grow every year, and you've got a team that's obviously grown with it and added to it. And again, I agree, very, very impressive. Again, could I just ask Director Ireland, is that 35 to 50? That seems like a low number. I'm not out to get people. I'm just wondering how come I did so many, and Representative Bellows is not doing as many as I did.
I don't think it's because she's gone soft. We'll roll the numbers up and get them over to you to take a look at, sir.
Good. That does come up once in a while, so it'd be nice. Seriously, it'd be nice to know that. Thank you again, everybody. You did a fantastic job. We're proud and at ease that you're there. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Committee, I think that's good for us. I think that could very well be our last meeting, although there's always one more.
Yeah.
We have a highway table we'll look at some point. And Representative Martin, you had it.
Yeah, just we are not meeting next week. We're not meeting Tuesday, and as you well know, we've got session Thursday. So if we meet, it'll be the following week, correct?
Correct, and we really don't have anything else on our agenda at the moment. When the converter gets back from criminal justice, we'll have something. But again, that'll be it for us for the time being.
Great.
Anything
All right.
else, anybody? All right, thank you again, and thank you again, Secretary Bellows and your team. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye now.
You know,
I just
Have a good
resent
weekend,
that
everybody.
report out to you guys.
Oh, okay.
I just sent it out again in an email.
Okay, I want to get a hard.
We'll
Oh,
get
well.
some hard copies printed and over to Darlene. No problem.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
nice.
Bye.
Have a good weekend. See
You
ya.
too.
Thank you.